Hello, wine drinking people. Today is Tuesday, May 25th. We're back for another week worth of drinking here at the Wine Watch. Well, tomorrow night we've got a tasting with the Huneeus Vintners featuring Quintessa Winery, Veramonte Winery, Flowers Winery, Cruz Andina, the whole entire portfolio from Augustin Huneeus. Everything is outstanding. We've added the menu that we're serving tomorrow night on today's email, so check that out. And Friday night, we've got our big Brunello di Montalcino tasting. Vintage Brunello, 10 years or older, 10 wines, going down this Friday night. All right, well, what have we got to sell you today? Well, today is our first offering on the 2009 vintage futures from Bordeaux. And we have sold futures for the last 10 years here at the Wine Watch. And this is a very exciting time in the wine business. And I've been to Bordeaux several times to taste the young wines of the first release of the vintage out of the barrel. And it's always exciting when you have a great vintage like 2009. And many of the producers and many of the negociants and other business people from Bordeaux that have been in the store the last 6 months have been raving about this vintage, saying what great potential that it has. Well, the moment that we've been waiting for has happened. A week or 2 weeks ago when Robert Parker Jr. came out on his big review on 2009. And let me just quote the first sentence from his review. First and most importantly, for some Maddox and Graves, 2009 may turn out to be the finest vintage I have tasted in the 32 years of covering Bordeaux. From top to bottom, 2009 is not as consistent as 2005, but the peaks in quality of 2009 may turn out to be historic, end quote. Robert Parker Jr., our greatest authority in this country, and probably the rest of the world on Bordeaux. So he's comparing 2009 to vintages like 59, 29, saying it could be one of the greatest vintages of all time in Bordeaux. I know there are a lot of you out there that respect my opinion, but the thing that really matters with Bordeaux is the points and Robert Parker's opinion. And you could make a great living, many people have, out of just buying the highest rated wines from Bordeaux and reselling them 3 to 5 years later. This is the one commodity that, like clockwork, has gone up in value every year. And we've been in this business now for 10 years buying futures. The only vintage I bought nothing at all was 2007. Oh, I'm sorry, 1997. We didn't buy anything at all. We were looking into buying that first vintage, and then we started with futures in 98. Thank God we didn't buy 97. We would have lost our shorts, just like in 2007. In 2006, we did buy a little bit. This was the only vintage that the wines actually went down in value, and that's because 2005 was such a great vintage, and people bought so much in 2005. 2006, also our dollar was at the highest point, or the weakest point versus the euro in the history of the dollar and euro, just about. So those two things made 2006 not a great vintage to buy in futures. But with that said, if you wait another 10 years, the top level wines from 06 are all going to be worth more than what you paid for them. So like clockwork, as I mentioned before, the top level wines in Bordeaux will increase in value over time. Okay, well, check it out. Now, your futures order is confirmed with your payment. We are taking payment 100% in advance for futures this year, and the wines will be delivered in the spring, or start to be delivered in the spring of 2012. All right, that's all I've got for you today. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, for the Wine Watch, signing off, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.